Good evening. Here we are back again, still in our bedroom studio. Um, so, we want to discuss tonight about the right to work.
This is I don't think it's on the Republican platform, it's on the Democratic platform. It really has to do with unions. And it's an interesting dilemma, to say the least. Uh, the unions have been declining in numbers and membership for quite some time. Part of that is because a lot of them are manufacturing unions and all the manufacturing's gone overseas. Uh, Part of that is right to work, which some states have passed right to work laws, which basically says that the individual has a right to work without joining a union.
I did not know that.
Yes. And the Democrats have said that's not a good law and it's not good for America. And we need to have the federal government pass laws to say that the states can't have laws that say you have the right to work, which is, if you looked at our last discussion, that's an interesting overreach of the federal government. Is it not?
Interpreting the law.
Yeah. So now, from a practical standpoint, it's an interesting dilemma because the way unions work is collective bargaining. You can bargain with your employer because you have all the employees or the most of the employees. You're representing them, and you can all demand certain things. You can even go on strike, and uh, strikes are the effectiveness is ruined if you have scabs. That's people that come in during the strike and take your place and work in the place of the union workers. So for unions to be effective, they really have to have everybody part of the union, and having right to work can diminish their power. On the other hand, from a practical standpoint, shouldn't individuals that don't have jobs have a right to work, especially in the situations where you have unions that are advocating things that individuals may not agree with. I have personal experience. I worked as a teacher's aide, and I worked in probably four different classes, two different schools as teacher's aide, and I had to join the union. And I had no problem with the union representing me, getting me higher wages and benefits and all of those things, which didn't happen when you're a teacher's aide. You're just lowly paid peon. But but I did have an objection to the teachers union taking my dues and supporting specific candidates that I didn't support. Or at that time, they were advocating for the high schools to put in health clinics and be able to hand out contraceptives to minors, or even give them counseling on getting abortions and such, which I'm opposed to, um, morally opposed to, and I don't think it's part of education. And I don't think that the teachers' unions should be advocating for that. And being a member, they were saying, we represent all of these people and we are lobbying for this and speaking for them, except they didn't speak for me. And yet I had to be a member. And as a member, they said they spoke for me. And so that I felt like I should have a right to work and be able to select my own representative, not be part of a group that decides that they want to represent say I represent something that I don't, or stand for something I don't. So that's the dilemma. If you have right to work laws, it protects some individual freedoms, as being able to get a job, uh, or be able to negotiate your own wage rather than have the union decide, and forcing you to join a union that may not represent your views on a number of issues. On the other hand, you that's undermines the power of the unions to actually negotiate, because now you have people that are not part of the union. And a lot of times those were companies have moved to the right to work states because it gave them more power, more flexibility. So that's a big issue, especially as far as Democrats are concerned. You can let us know what you think. That's it for tonight. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.
Good night.
Bye.